Good morning, everyone. It's not easy after you, Alexander, and to see so much great deep tech examples. Now to speak about the boring digital, but it's there for sure, digital, and I'll try to do my best. You're experts. At the end of the day, you're not, the mass who doesn't know what is digital. You're all working in the space somewhere. And now I would like to show you some hypotheses. So what we believe after speaking with hundreds and thousands of people and experts, etc., what's happening right now. By the way, the hypotheses I have here, they are not the one in 20, 30 years. We are not visionaries. We'll be all on Mars anyway, thanks to CSM2. This one is for sure. No, it's not for sure, but we speak about the next 5 to 7 years. I think it is what is important for us now. What's happening in the very near futures on our life, daily life and business life, of course. This one is basic. This one is basic, but I still hear it out there. We go back to 2019. No, we don't. Let's face it. I don't believe we go. The future of work, we all know that. It's a mix. Look at big companies. They do 60-40 home office. On the way, you can go abroad, you can do whatever you want. The new normality and the future of work, it's clear. We don't go back to 2019. I don't know if you remember how it was. We didn't dare asking our boss to stay one day home office, and having a video conference in the team was weird. Now it's the new normality within 18 months. After the shock, it's quite normal. You don't ask your boss where you have to go, where you have to work. I even had some employees for 2 months in Graubünden, all fine. Zurich, Neuchâtel, Graubünden, doesn't matter. So that's the new normality. But new normality is not only future of work. What is digital at the end of the day? We've seen great examples of hardware. You have so much hardware, so much technology. The new digital is bringing a real-time component. I think it is what is new in the fourth revolution, and this is what digital is doing, is a conversion of software and hardware on one side and bringing everything real time. This is what is digital, in my opinion. And we have great examples. I'll take always the same because it's everyone understands it. In the COVID phase, we had in Switzerland, not easy for a decentralized country as ours. And you remember, beginning of the year, we had in a country to consolidate the vaccination numbers. From single doctors, vaccination centers and hospitals, companies doing vaccines, because we want to have the numbers on a Swiss-wide level. You can remember it was very tricky. We are a decentralized country, top-down, bottom-up organized, and we were the last country in Europe, even after, I apologize for that, it's not an offense, after Moldavia, to be able to consolidate the vaccination numbers kind of real time, because at the beginning in Switzerland it was on a weekly basis. Maybe you remember this time, February, March. Now it's getting better, we have it on a daily basis. So that's digital. Some other countries were better prepared, work functions differently, and they had much quicker real-time information on vaccinations. So that's the wake-up call we had in Switzerland, the way citizens, organization and the government were working together was not good enough yet, but we are improving. That's the so-called e-government, working on it. That's the new normality, real time in life, in everything we do. The same with technology we've seen the one from the blood pressure. Everything is getting real time. I go to the next one. This one, very important, of course, cloud computing increased a lot in the last 18 months, and video conference, and this one is clear. We don't want to go back to work only 5 days in the office. I'm sorry, I'm gone. Pretty much the case. And it's quite insane, let's face it, in Switzerland, at least the last 18 months, the unemployment rate didn't increase. It's really insane how we did somewhere in the economy and the research, which means we still have conditions, very good conditions for employees, and companies has to find a mix, an attractive mix between home office, between working office, going abroad, going in a co-working space, etc., etc. We will see, but I believe the 60-40, at least for the next 12 months, will be established in many organizations. And then after, of course, we will see. But we don't go back 5 days a week in the office, quite sure. The second one, and it's one of your expertise, that's clear. This one is massive. It's a basis for, it's the basis for IoT, it's the basis for infrastructure, it's the basis for machine learning, everything. Is we will learn always more from data, but even better, we will use data. There are still big companies in Switzerland, they have so much data, but they don't analyze them because they are split in many data warehouse. They are not able to interpret the data. They don't use data. And that's the big advantage of tech companies in the US or China or maybe here, a bit less. They are excellent on the data. This one, you know, I always ask the same questions, but it's interesting, I believe. Who from you has a voice assistant at home, if I may ask? It's not so much. Now we're in Switzerland, 10%. In the US, half of you would have said proudly, I do. In Switzerland, only 10, but it's coming. This gadget is coming, and soon it's maybe not a gadget anymore. I don't like it so much, to be honest. I don't see the need yet. In the US, they all love it. You know, hey, Siri, stop the music. Bref. But that's only the first phase, stop the music. Now we're coming to the next ones. That's where the machine is getting smart. We are now here on the first phase. It's a bit small, sorry. It's really about the machine is stupid, just do what do I say, like a laptop, my smartphone, you know, and not much more. The next phase, advanced personalization, then I feel when I enter the room, I am stressed today, bad day. And they will recommend me rather classical music than hard rock or techno. So that's the next phase. So the machine is interacting a bit more with us, is feeling us a bit more. Huh? And it's not in 30 years, this one. It's already there somewhere. It has not been adopted yet, at least not in Switzerland. Siri is trying it already, and the others, Alexa, it's soon there. And the third one is about being a friend, you know, interacting, discussing with you. How was your day? You have a high pulse today. Maybe through the startup, you know, in connecting, why is your pulse so high? What happened with you? Do you want to explain me? I don't know if it's fun or not. It's coming. The technology is soon there. Now, the next question is about the adoption, as always, of such technologies in the mass. Huh? Are we going to adopt it or not? And I don't know on this one. It's not on the slides. We will see if we will adopt it. But technology is there, and the machine, AI, etc., they are getting intelligent. So it's coming everywhere. Huh? And this one is just one example. There are tons of them. If you speak to a bit another industry, but even banking, insurance, all of them, there are so many new ways of interacting with data. If you look at bankings, they still don't use data, sorry, and they know that, so it's not an offense. And they are working on it to work much more on data for their business to better advise their customers. This is again what tech companies, purely tech companies, are doing extremely well. So that's the second hypothesis. This one, you know that, but still, I believe it's important to remind it because it will be massive. What we've seen already in the last couple of months is a bit terrifying, I believe. Swiss Gemeinde, Roll, Canton Vaud, has been heavily hacked. I don't know if there is no one from Roll here. No, it was in the public. Heavily hacked. All data about the citizens, as much as they had in the data warehouse, gone. And now the Swiss company, won't mention the name, and that's I come back after. The second name, ransomware, unfortunately this name, we will hear it a lot in the next couple of years. Attacking, asking for ransom, going back. Huh? As pirates are doing it in an analog way in the last couple of years, the new pirates are hackers, and they will do it on the digital way. And a Swiss company this year had to pay. They paid. It was public, and was maybe the good decision. Don't want to interpret what they decided, but they paid. And not just some 100 francs. Huh? They paid, and the attack stopped. The data were leaked anyway, but they had. So that's a new trend, cyber. It's a huge disadvantage and threat due to the fact that everything is getting connected. So I go back on this one. And you're all working in this space, so no need to explain you that. But still, it's the reality, and unfortunately, for hackers, it's a dream, because everything is getting connected. So many data, so many connections, which is good. We all want, because it brings convenience. In digital, is nothing else than bringing convenience for users, companies, and consumers. That's why we adopt it or not. If we don't adopt, this technology die. If we adopt it, it's a mass product, and it will for many of them. The leak is clear. Cyber hackers, for them, it's a paradise, and we have to be aware about that. We all know the story of the autonomous car who is crashing, you know, hopefully never, but that's a threat. So the first one is the cyber attack surface, as we call it, which is massively increasing. And the second one is the ransomware, which is the new cyber weapon. Huh? This hypothesis, it's not a hypothesis, it's already there. And you don't see a single day without a hacking news in the newspaper. Huh? So it's quite massive. Besides sustainability and everything we've heard, I believe cyber defense is very important. The third one, and Switzerland is now starting investing, never be too late, is in our critical infra. In Germany, they already have, if I'm not wrong, 2,000 soldiers who don't have a weapon, but they are somewhere with computers on the way. So cyber soldiers, cyber defense, 2,000, which is not bad, huh? And I mean, yes, because that's the next war. Let's face it. It's not with a Panzer. This is this one. And if they can reach out to their nuclear power plants and some others, transportations and energy, good luck. So that's a threat. Let's face it. And what can we do? We should invest. Invest in our cyber defense on the government side, and even cantons and Gemeinde. You can imagine 3,000 Gemeinde. They all have pretty much the IT system. Some of them small, maybe don't even have a good IT guy in the Gemeinde. They have no chance. Huh? So that's the reality. So that will be interesting what's happening here. I don't want to be bring a tragedy or whatever. I'm really not. But here, if you have kids, I will recommend them to learn a bit about cyber, because there are tons of jobs in the next decade in this sector for sure. The next one, and I believe CSCM is doing it already amazingly well, is all about collaboration. In this new world, you cannot be just working on your own, you know, with maybe in B2B, in one-to-one collaboration way. It's still good, of course, but I believe the future belongs to ecosystems. And if you look at the small, it's not small. We are tiny. We are village, Switzerland. We're not more than a village. We're so tiny. We rather have to fight together, sorry for the expression, to have strong ecosystems. That's the way we have to go. Because the tech giants, they are so good, they are so powerful, you know that. They can eat the world. Huh? And we have, of course, the CEO one, these questions 5 years ago, you know, we find it quite trivial. Yes, it is ecosystem, collaboration. Come, we know that. Yes, we know. This one, 5 years ago, or even maybe 3 years ago, I believe the result would have been a disaster. Ecosystem, I'm not interested. Loss of time. Right now, I believe people understand. We have to work in ecosystems more together. Digital Switzerland has been founded by Mark Walder from Ringe. I guess there are not so many people of the media industry here. Why media is interesting? Because they've been heavily disrupted since more than 10 years. So ask them, Tamedia just around the corner, Ringe, NZZ, they have a tough time. And it's not ending tomorrow to be disrupted. They are losing advertising money, and you know where this money is going. Since 10 years. Most of us here in the industry, or rather I believe in the industry, it's less, you know, you don't have a tech giant from Seattle or Shenzhen who is disrupting your core business so easily somewhere. Media has been disrupted 10 years. And now what they're doing, they are working much more in ecosystems. You have a consolidation of the market, so that's clear. Smaller players are disappearing, or they're being acquired, but they are working in ecosystem. And you've seen the login, maybe from Ringe, Tamedia, NZZ, and CH. media, and just 2 weeks ago they have decided to bring even the marketplaces together because Facebook is really strong in this space, and they have even there have to work together. And they don't merge, but they work in ecosystems. Smart move. Give you some examples. There are many others. And CSA, I mean, we did once, by the way, 3 years ago, there was Riga, was the name of the association first for the blood pressure. So we started 5 or 4 years ago, this project together. Was amazing. One other example in Switzerland, which I love to mention, is, and there are many other names, by the way, is the Swiss Autonomous Valley, everything around drones. Drones is a good example where Switzerland is excellent. If I would have been American, I would have said we are the best in the world, but we are excellent. And why? Because we have tech, we have research, as you do, ETH, EPFL, excellent. We have an ecosystem of young guys, the Wingtra, the Flyability, and all others, super entrepreneurs, bringing the products to the market. And that's the most important one, I believe. We have this time a nice regulator. Sorry for that, but we really have a fantastic regulations of drones in Switzerland. Fantastic means we don't have so much regulations. So you can fly very high with drones. And you know that, and many startups from abroad, US, etc., they're coming to Switzerland to test their drones. That's cool, because they cannot in the US, so not easily. And now they're opening an office here maybe, so they create jobs, etc., etc. It's a cool ecosystem, and all working together. The other amazing example of Switzerland, and I believe the next wave will be giant, I don't have it on my slide, by the way, is everything around the decentralized ledger. So the blockchain hype, the ICO hype with of the 16 to 18 was a hype, a lot of scam, unfortunately. But the new technology is good. It's like internet. You remember internet started in the 2000, a bit earlier. If you remember the first browsers, unusable. The second wave was really good, and now we see where we are. Decentralized technology is the same. And we have a fantastic ecosystem in Switzerland. Why? We are good in research, university-wise. It's very soft. It's only soft as of today. We have great startups. We have immigration around them. We have Russian, you know them, the Foundation Ether, etc., coming to Switzerland, and we have a fantastic regulator. The first country this year who has accepted security tokens on the parliament, the first country in the world. And I believe this is ecosystem-wise what we have to do, to have rather a deregulation or a soft and high-quality regulation than blocking. And you've seen maybe last week China who decided to ban cryptos. In my opinion, a huge mistake. Nice for Switzerland because companies are coming here. And I really believe it's not about crypto, it's about the infrastructure, the decentralized technology. They are coming to stay forever. My opinion, but we will see. I don't speak about Libra or this kind of stuff. Through payment, I don't believe, but everything around infra, which is again important for your value chains in the industry, will be there and will stay forever. This one is quite clear. The ex-CEO of the SBB, Andreas Meyer, he always said the same anecdote, but I love it. We have only 3 things in Switzerland. We have our mountains, we have our brains, talent, and we have infrastructure. Speaking about SBB, of course. And he was speaking about the analog, the physical infrastructure, which is, let's face it, amazingly good in Switzerland. But now the next level is the digital ones. And we've seen again the same anecdote around the vaccination, a disaster. We don't have infra between citizens, organizations, cantons, and government. We don't have it yet. And we are coming. It's coming. We're not the worst one, but still on the vaccination one, it was a disaster. And it's clear there are many studies right now. Switzerland cannot miss this train. Otherwise, we'll have issues. It's about e-health. You spoke about e-health. E-health has a lot of regulators. It's a lot to do with the government, the BRG. You've seen the theater in the last 18 months. So on this one, we should really not miss the train. And we're working a lot also with many other players. It's extremely complicated because we're a decentralized country, so you can imagine Gemeinde, Canton, and Confederation, a lot of organizations. There is business around it, of course, many particular interests, which is fine, but we really have to make it happen, having a strong eGov or digital infra, I don't know how you want to call it. This hypothesis is clear. I'm really convinced. The countries who will make it happen, they will be leading the race of digital transformation. It's nice. Switzerland will have a strong digital economy, which is cool, but we should not miss this one. And this one is not only about, a company. It's about the entire Swiss ecosystem. And smaller countries has advantages. Estonia and Singapore, Denmark, all these cases, but there is one big difference, by the way. If you take the EID of Singapore, it's a top-down EID. Is anyone from Singapore here? I don't want to say anything wrong, but it's a top-down EID. You have it as a citizen, the state, and I don't want to say if it's good or not, the state knows everything about your EID. You remember the votation this year? We are now involved in the public consultation, and in Switzerland, we don't want the state to know where we are and what we do. So this one's not going to happen. It will be, again, a self-sovereign identity or decentralized ID, highly complicated. So we'll have it in a few years, highly complicated. We have our liberty, etc. It's not easy to have a strong digital infrastructure in a country like ours, where people, citizens, love their liberty. And we don't want to be spied by the state. Highly challenging. Gaia X is a very interesting topic. Again, here, I'm not there to criticize anyone, but let's face it, the American and Chinese giants, they are massive. They are massive. And on the infrastructure side, there is maybe one last European company, which is Ericsson, which is really deploying 5G. Another topic I won't speak right now, 5G, by the way, but it's part of this one. And Gaia X is about the cloud infrastructure. Where are the data at the end of the day? We want the data to stay somewhere here. You all know this problematic. It's a European project coming now to Switzerland too. We want to be one of the leading country in this universum, Gaia X, and showing, yes, we might use the infrastructure of foreign companies. Let's face it, we have no cloud infra in Switzerland. We have many servers, which is great, but all from foreign companies, mainly. But at least we would like the data to stay here. So this is huge topic, everything around infra, and there is a lot of hardware, of course, everything around 5G, etc. Good. I believe it's my last one. I have 5 more minutes, right? Okay. I have one more, and then just 2-3 words about Switzerland. This one is such a basic, but still I have to repeat it, because we cannot figure out it will come. Here, you're all experts, so I believe you're less, let's say, at risk. We have only 5 million jobs in this tiny country, and 1 million will disappear. It's not a question if it will happen or not. It will, and it has already started, of course. You see some industries out there. If you go to Migrocop, can you imagine 5 or 7, 10 years ago how many people were there? Now it's half of the people. Banking industry, so retail and banking are suffering most. Banking industry had 110,000 jobs, if I'm not wrong, 10 years ago. No, it's 70, which is still good, but 70,000. And let's face it, there will be less. So that's the reality. And 1 million jobs are going away. And the only point now is, if you look at the first revolution, it took 70 years for 1 million jobs. It was less at the time, but for 20% of the jobs to disappear. Now it's 10 to 15 years. It's even less than 1 generation, and for everyone above 40, I would not expect to do the same job until 65 or 67 or 70. I don't know. We'll see. This one is really good. Now the hope for Switzerland And it's amazing how good we are doing. In all the rankings about talent, we are number one. Since 6, 7, 8 years, IMD, INSEAD, all others, the WEF, they all have rankings. And every year they say it's amazing, we've never seen it, Switzerland always number one. Yes, we need to invest massively in education, kids' education. We need 130,000 more people until 2030 in mint jobs. 130,000. I don't know where we will find them. First option, educating more people in these areas. By the way, many more ladies, so we need many more ladies, diversity in mint jobs. Second one, immigrating people, because we don't have enough. Third one, the jobs are gone. It's very simple, huh? The jobs are gone, the companies will go in other countries. Hopefully, I mean, not hopefully, but let's face it, every good hubs in the world had the same problem. So there is a huge war for talents. We all know that, and it's about now investing. So when I hear sometimes in Bern, in the parliament, and I really get nightmares about that, people saying we should reduce investment in research and educations, I'm really telling myself, sorry, my friends, what do you think? I mean, it's a disaster. That's the worst we can do. It's all about the jobs in 5 to 10 years. There is only one, and the mountains, we cannot change them. There is infra and talents. That's it, really. And here we need to invest massively. So that's the only things we can do. And if you look at the good industry where Switzerland might be good, beside watches, beside banking, which is going down, beside pharma, of course, amazing, tourism, etc. The next one are decentralized. We are very good in this one. It's robotics, it's industry, we've seen all of them. Personalized medicine, we're very good. It's all about software, it's all about hardware, etc., etc. So 1 minute, good. Then I will close. No, that's the last but one. If you have kids, 65% will do jobs that don't exist today. So don't tell them which job they will do. Just ask them to be curious and be curious yourself. And the last one, and then I'm really done in the 1 minute. What Albert Einstein said long time ago, sorry. It's amazing. It's amazing, and it has never been as true as today. So for everyone, the day you stop learning, you start dying. So please learn every day. That's all we have to do. Thank you very much for your attention.